Okay. So, all right, for those of you that had fast, hopefully it was a good day. You guys learned something productive. It's a lot of information for you new agents, and then you come right into something like this. Yeah, you're drinking from the fire hose for sure. So anyway, hopefully we'll can ease your mind a little bit, your mind's a little bit on some of this other stuff. So but we'll get right to it today. We're gonna do, as I promised, presentations today, listing presentations. We'll start with, we could talk a little bit about buyer presentations as well, depending on how much time we have. And then I will send you copies of all this stuff as well as the recording. And then did everybody get the video I sent last week for CMAs? Did everybody get an opportunity maybe to take a look at the CMA video that I sent out? All right. I'm going to do a screen share here. Okay. So let's talk about listing presentations. I have to actually stay on schedule today. I've got about an hour today, so I'll make sure I do my best to stay on schedule here. But let's see, make sure I can see everybody over here. And so I have multiple screens up, and that's why a lot of times you guys see me looking to the side. So, all right, cool. All right, listing presentations. All right, so here we go. So we'll start with kind of setting up your appointment. So, you know, first of all, obviously a lot of our, you know, listing presentations and things like that, they stem from a phone call at some point, right? We usually have an initial conversation. Your goal for every phone call that you take, whether it's for a buyer or a seller, your goal is to meet in person, okay? So all of your phone calls, all of your potential listing leads, everything, it should always be to meet in person. So you need to kind of learn to get yourself an appointment and that you're not answering all their questions over the phone. Okay, so you're getting yourself to a position where you go, great, well, the process normally is that I'll come over, I'll take a look at your property. You know, people are gonna ask you, hey, can you tell me how much my property is worth? So I can give you kind of a range, but generally what we wanna do is I need to get in, take a look at the property, see the conditions, see the improvements that you've made, that kind of stuff. And it also gives us a great opportunity to meet in person and just kind of get to know one another. So everything that you're talking about in these conversations is kind of guidance and pushing you in the direction of getting to meet them in person, okay? So again, don't answer all of their questions over the phone. You can kind of deflect some of those and goes, well, that really depends. You know, I generally have to see the property first and get yourself in, okay? So meeting them face-to-face will help you to kind of strengthen rapport and it's gonna strengthen their commitment to you, okay? So once they've taken some of your personal time, people don't feel like a phone call is taking up your time, but you driving over to their house, getting dressed up, looking nice, coming in, bringing in, you know, some documents that you hand to them. These are all things that now there's a little bit more of a commitment there, okay? So prepare them for what you'll review at the listing appointment. So let me just give you an understanding of how this works. I'll come over to the property, we'll take a look, I'll have you tour me around, show me the house, talk to me about any updates that you've done, things that you like about the house, things that you don't like about the house. And then what we'll do is we'll sit down, I'll talk to you a little bit about some of the comps in the area. I'll go over my company and my business and how we promote your listing and how we advertise and all that kind of stuff. So I'll give you a copy of our listing presentation, our listing guide. It kind of gives you some information about what to expect throughout the process, what the contractual process looks like, you know, some checklists to get your home ready, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so you're kind of preparing them a little bit for that. Okay, and again, once you get over there, the documentation that you provide and the value that you provide there, that's where that commitment starts to be built. Okay, wow, this person just took a lot of time and effort. You know, if you show up with nothing in hand and they don't feel like you prepared for it, they don't feel like they owe you a whole lot. There's not a whole lot of commitment made to them, so why should they make a commitment to you? If you show up with a bunch of documents in hand, nice presentation binder. I got one of Dennis's right here, actually. Okay, so this is a nice little presentation binder that I got from him. He takes these to all of his listings. And now I take them all to all my listings because I think this is awesome. But this is really cool. This is like it's not real leather, but it looks like a leather bound binder. Okay, he gets these from the title company. So if you've got a title rep, you reach out to your title rep and you tell them that you want one of these. They cost 25 bucks, okay, worth every penny of it. You go inside, it's got realtor information on it, and it's got these tabs here. So the first one is property information, and it has a ton of like general information about the property. It's basically what they pull from public record, okay? The second one is utilities. It says utility information. It says who does the gas service, who does the electric, who does the water, that kind of stuff. Has all kinds of different gas service, electric service, water service for their websites, their contact information. You've got homeowners association documents if they apply, okay? You've got school district documents, what schools, high schools, middle schools, all the different school listings. It's got school schedules in here. The amount of work that goes into this, you guys couldn't possibly do. You probably couldn't put this binder together for 25 bucks worth of paper and binders. They put this together for $25, including the labor and the work that it takes, okay? So these are awesome. They have a plat map of the property, okay? So plat map, they have covenants, okay? So if there's any covenants, they'll put them in here. Know your neighborhood. A little bit about real estate reports for the neighborhood, gives you property detail about the particular property, gives you comparables, assessor maps, okay? Just really cool information, okay? Some disclosures, if there's any disclosures, they'll be here. And then Dennis puts like a kind of a welcome packet here as well, okay? So this in itself right here, it's not something that you put together. This is something you contact the title company for. You give them the address and they can get you one of these in, usually it's less than 2 business days, okay? They'll ship it or drop it off directly to your office. Guys, this is huge. I just started using these. I love them. And the next thing that's really cool is you tell your client to leave this in the property, right? When they move, it's your listing. When they move, they don't need to take this. This is their old home. They don't own it anymore. So what happens with something like this, with all this information? They put it in a drawer. Okay, the new owners come in, they see it, it's nice. They don't really want to throw it out because it's nice. So they put it in a drawer. And then 5 years from now, when that buyer wants to sell that house again and they can't remember who their Redfin agent was that helped them buy the house, they go, oh yeah, well, we could look, there's, you know, they pull their drawer open and they see this all the time and they go, well, why don't we just call this guy? He sold the house last time. Okay, so you can ask Dennis, if you're in Fort Collins, ask Dennis about these and he'll tell you how many listings he's got from the buyers when he put this in the home. Okay, so guys, that is a huge resource. So right off the bat, you get these from your title company, and Land Title does them and First American does them. Just so I don't know, I'm sure other companies do them too, but Land and First American are the ones that do these. So they're awesome. They're worth every penny. They look like you put in a ton of work. Okay, they look like there's a big commitment, and you literally put in no work. You send it in some information to the title company, send in the address, and get a listing binder. Okay. All right. Pre-listing appointment questionnaire. Okay, I ask the sellers to fill this out if they have time before we meet. If not, we go over it then. Okay, so I'll send it to them. Some clients are really diligent and they'll fill it out immediately and send it back to you. Some clients won't even open their email. So no big deal. Basically, I send this over to try to get a little bit of information and to maybe give me an insight into any objections that I might run into, okay? So they're gonna give me obviously their name, their address, all their contact information so I can put them into my database, okay? If they were referred by somebody, same thing, that goes into my database and I immediately write a thank you note to that person, okay? and then a little bit more about their house, the main reason I'm selling, and I'll send you guys this template. Okay, so I have this template. I will send it to you. You can remove my name, my logo, and put yours on there. Okay, so here's why I'm selling. I would like to be moved by. Okay, so I'm thinking about selling beginning of next year. Okay, great, we got some time. Or I need to be out of my house no later than August 15th. Okay, well, we better get on it. Okay, so in choosing a realtor to sell your home, place in order of priority: speed of sale, sales price, net proceeds, marketing program. Again, most people it's sales price, net proceeds, that kind of stuff. But speed of sale could be really important. I've done ones before where they go, hey, we were trying to do for sale by owner. We're under contract on our buy side. We were under contract on our sell side, but it failed. And now we have 3 weeks to close or we're going to lose our contingent buy side. So at that point, what matters more, speed of sale or the price? Probably speed of sale. And I usually ask them that. I go, how much money are you willing to potentially lose on your sell side to not lose your dream home on the buy side? And they'll kind of give you some insight onto what important stuff they have there. So do they have a mortgage? Okay, this is important. And their approximate balance, this is important so you guys can create a net sheet for them. Okay. And we'll talk a little bit about how I negotiate my commissions with people. I never even talk about the percentage I charge. All I do is I send them a net sheet with it included, show them the bottom line. This is what you would get after you sell your home. Are you happy with that? And if they say yes, I've essentially negotiated my commission without ever talking about what percent I was charging. Okay. And then when we go through the listing agreement itself, then it shows up in the listing agreement. But if they question it, you can say, actually, if you take a look at that net sheet, it's already on that net sheet. So we've already gone over that. Okay. So approximate loan balance. Do you need to buy a home? Am I going to be helping you on both sides? Okay. And my preferred communication methods and how often we would like to talk. So during your listing, this is for a normal listing where it might be on the market for a couple of months. And you say, do you want me to contact you weekly or bi-weekly with updates? In this case, you're going to be talking to them in that first weekend probably. But how do they prefer? Do they prefer to be email, text, phone call? Okay, that's always good information to know. Okay, so I'll send you guys this listing questionnaire. And like I said, I try to get this beforehand, so I know that if I'm going to have an objection on how much they're paying in commission or something like that. Okay, what should you take to your listing appointment? Okay, so your pre-listing appointment questionnaire, if they filled that out, go ahead and take that with you. Your own RE/MAX Alliance, or your own seller guide. Okay, so the seller guides. Give me 1 sec. I'm going to grab a seller guide to show you guys. Okay, so in each of your offices, you guys have access to these: home buyer information resource, home seller information resource. These are by RE/MAX Alliance, okay? And I think they're like $8 or something like that. So I actually, when I do a listing, I take this home seller information resource and I put it in here. So I get this binder, I take this guy and I put it in the front or the back pocket. This thing's about 30 pages and it has moving checklists. It has all kinds of different stuff in it. Okay, so pricing to sell your home, preparing to sell your home, all kinds of different things, gives you different steps. It's just reading material for your clients, but it's nice. It looks good. It's printed well, and it's just something clean to give to them that if they are readers and they like to look at stuff and they like to be overly prepared, this is a great resource for them. Okay. So that being said, I use this and this together. Cost me about $33 between the two of them. Okay, so so those two things together are part of the piece that I take. I also take my own seller guide. Okay, so this is the RE/MAX Alliance seller guide. Okay, I also take my own seller guide. It's a Meta Home seller guide. Okay, and I'll that's something that I'll send to you. The presentation that I'll send to you, again, you guys can remove my logo, remove my name, put your own stuff, okay? I generally take a realist property report with me. So again, either through Iris or through Matrix, you go in, pull public record about the property and print whatever comes up there. That way you can double check when you're touring the property. If realist says that it's 3-bed, 2-bath, is it actually 3-bed, 2-bath? If it says it's got X amount of square footage, is it counting the sunroom that they added on, or whatever it is? And then you can go through and kind of make those corrections. Okay. I tend to, on that realist property report, I also tend to write in Zillow values. So whatever Zillow values it at. And I also go into NARPR. So the National Association of Realtors Real Property Resource or something like that, I think it is. I'll pull the value of their home on NARPR. So what it does is it gives me like a couple different valuations of the property. And the one that the clients generally expect is going to be Zillow, right? That's where everybody goes to figure out what's my property worth. They go to Zillow, okay? Then I take my laptop in case they want to fill out an agreement right there on the spot, okay? Pens, business cards, that kind of stuff. The other thing I take is a tape measure. I have a laser measure. If you don't have one, I recommend it highly. I think you can get one on Amazon for like 30 or 40 bucks, but a laser measure, and I take it with me on all my showings. I take it to me on all my listing appointments. It is a really easy way to measure dimensions of rooms. Sometimes you go into a house, you're showing a house and somebody goes, oh, this bedroom feels kind of small. Pull it out of my pocket, laser it, and I go, actually, it's 10 by 10, 10 by 11, pretty standard size for a bedroom, or somebody would want to know. They'd be like, I wonder if a king bed would sit in here, would fit in here. So I just off the top of my head know how big all beds are just because of questions like this. Like I know how wide a queen is, how wide a king bed is, that kind of stuff. That's just the weird stuff that you learn over time. And then you can measure your room and know how much you would have on each side, okay? So that's what I take to a listing appointment, okay? Your seller's guide, okay? So again, you can either use this, but I like to have my own branded stuff with my name on it, okay? So what should your seller's guide contain? Obviously your contact info, your marketing plan, your pricing information, advertising info, showing tips, company reviews or accolades, and then personal reviews or accolades, okay? Relocation assistance and repair and cleaning checklist. So same thing like in here, I'm pretty sure we have in here like company accolades, but there's no personal accolades, right? So let's see what's in here. I think there's something in here that says like us or them or something like that. And it tells you why you should choose us versus somebody else. Let's see here. Yeah, it's kind of at the beginning here, talks about RE/MAX Alliance, how many homes we sell as a company, how much volume we do, how many offices we have, that kind of stuff. Sorry, Lori, did you have something? Okay. So yeah, so anyway, I put that information also in my own personal seller's guide, okay? But this has all those items right there, plus more, okay? So at the listing appointment, so ask the seller to tour you around the home, take notes of things that not only the seller mentions, but also things that you notice, good and bad. So I just carry my book around with me. Same thing, I've kind of got my branded notebooks, okay? Again, I really encourage you guys to, brand yourself. If you have some type of, brand that you guys have put together or you're branding yourself, brand yourself. You never know. Hopefully you guys will be with RE/MAX Alliance for forever, but you never know what happens. So, take an opportunity to brand yourself so you can move that brand with you, okay? So I just go through, I take notes. If a seller says something, it's important to them. It may not be important to us, but they may be like, oh, and then we just, we put in these brand new floors in the bathroom and they're the best and like everybody's gonna love these. Well, that's opinion and that's great, but everybody's got a remodel bathroom. So, your floors aren't any better than the next person's, but we put that down. Okay. Let the seller lead the tour because they're going to key you into what's important to them. They're going to be like, oh, and then we just put in this whole house attic fan, which I have one of those and they're really cool, but they don't increase the value of the home. But the seller, they're going to be like, oh, and people are going to love this. Like, I can't live without it now. And they're going to think that it increases the value of their home like $5,000 because it costs them $4,000 to put in or whatever. So just, they'll tell you that type of stuff. And then you can use that to your advantage later when you comp out. Okay. So once the tour is complete, find a place to sit down, ask questions that may not have been answered on the questionnaire. Ask what value they put on the property. Sometimes they'll push back on that and they'll say, well, that's why we hired you. We want you to put a price on it. Great. Sometimes they'll push back and be like, well, I'm not going to tell you what I think. I want to know what you think first. Okay, no problem. But I like to know what value they put on the property. Where did you find that? Did you pull comps? Usually it's, oh, I saw it on Zillow or my neighbor's house sold for this or whatever. Great. And then I'm going to be like, I did see that your neighbor's house sold. I actually pulled the comp. It's right here. Let's take a look at it together. So you can see like, hey, so their house, they've updated the kitchen. Your house does not have an updated kitchen. They have a 1-car garage. You have a 2-car garage. So my process is when we go through this, especially now that I know the condition of your home, I put these 2 homes side by side and I start adding and subtracting value based on, the differences between the homes. Okay. So talk about the process and figure out when they'd like to list the property and then lay out a timeline for them. Okay. So I'll be like, hey, so Mike, when are you wanting to sell this property? And Mike says, well, probably get it on the market before mid-August. Okay, great. Well, let me give you a timeline for me. I need about 7 days, probably minimum 5 days to get your property on the market. Okay. What I'll do is once you're ready and the property's cleaned, then I'll order pictures. I can usually get them out within 1 or 2 days. And then it takes about 1 or 2 days to get those pictures back. I'll put together an MLS write-up. I'll get flyers made, et cetera, and I'll get it submitted. So all of that, minimum probably 5 days. So we generally like to list on Thursdays or Fridays or whatever day you want to list, but generally we list up, we like to list on Thursdays. It gives us 2 days during the week to show and 2 days on the following weekend to show. Okay. Gives people enough opportunity to get into the property. And in our current market, we're expecting to have offers by Sunday evening. Okay, so that's kind of the process. So really, it's up to you. If you can get everything kind of organized, go through the checklists that are in my seller's resource guide, and get the property ready. You give me about 5 days, and I can get it listed. 5 to 7 days, and I can get it listed. Does that sound good? Great. Okay. So lay out that timeline for them. Okay. At that point, it's a good opportunity to kind of try to earn the listing. And also you can talk to them about the contractual process. I think that's an important point too, is say, hey, do you understand the contractual process? Usually the answer is no. So, okay, well, so here I'll lay it out. I already told you it takes about 5 to 7 days to get the property ready to be listed. We list it on a Thursday and we hope to have contracts by that Sunday, okay? And be under contract Sunday or Monday. After that, the contractual process is about 30 days. Within 7 to 10 days, they're going to do an inspection on the property. Within about 2 to 3 weeks, they're going to do an appraisal on the property. Each of those potentially has some type of renegotiation of the property. You're going to fix some things. You may give a concession for something. Depends on what we negotiate through your contract. And then closing is generally about 30 days out. Okay. So if you want to be on the market by August 15th, we can probably be safe to say we'd be under contract somewhere around within that first week by August 20th, 22nd, and we would close sometime in late September, somewhere between the 20th and the 30th of September. Does that work for you? Is that a good timeline for you? Yes? Great. Okay. So once they understand all that, they understand the listing, the procedure and the contractual procedure, try to earn the listing at that point. Okay, so if they're not ready to commit, then schedule a second appointment after you've had the opportunity to create a CMA. I can tell you this, As much as I believe in trying to secure a sale as early as possible, I believe in doing things thoroughly. And so I'm going to almost disagree with my own slide here. I don't do it that way. I don't try to get the commitment right then and there. I almost expect that we're going to have a second appointment. So what I do is I say, well, great. Well, here's my process. I'm going to go home. I'm going to run another comparative market analysis on your home now that I know the condition. I will send over not only that CMA, and some information regarding it, but I will also send you what's called a seller's net sheet. The seller's net sheet is going to outline basically all the costs that are associated with the sale of your home, title fees, real estate fees, prorated taxes, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Once that's completed, I'll send that your way. And if everything looks good, we'll put together a listing agreement and we'll be on our way. Does that sound good to you? That sounds good. Great. Then I give them an expectation of that CMA. I try to, after my first appointment, complete that CMA and that seller's net sheet within 24 hours. Okay, this is not something that you meet with them on Wednesday and say, I'll have it to you by the end of the weekend. That's way too long. That's way too much time to allow another agent to come in and get this thing put together for them. You should literally go home and and honestly, if you have a morning appointment, you should have it to them by the end of the day. Okay, so, hey, I've got, we're finishing up now. It's about 11 o'clock. I think I can get this done to you and I'll have it to you by the end of the day. Okay, that's not unreasonable. It's something that you should be able to do and something that you should commit to. Okay, and then that way, if they go, yeah, that looks good, you can get a listing documents put together and you'll be under contract within 24 hours of your listing appointment. You can get it set up the next morning. And at that point, once I have those documents done, I say, hey, I've got your listing documents put together. Would you prefer to meet in person to review these, or we can do a Zoom call or a phone call? What do you prefer? And then I'll take the listing documents to them, or we'll do a Zoom call. I like doing Zoom calls because we do a screen share and I'll share the document with them, and then we'll go line by line and go over all those necessary documents, the seller advisory, obviously the listing contract, seller's property disclosure, square footage disclosure, that type of stuff. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay. All right. Create your CMA. After your first appointment, send a quick follow-up email recapping everything you've discussed, okay, and what they can expect from you now and on what time frame. So I literally do this like as soon as I get home. So I get home, hey, thanks so much for inviting me into your house today. I really appreciate the opportunity to earn your business. I look forward to working with you. I'm sitting down to work on the CMA and your net sheet now. And again, I should have that by the end of the day today. And I send that over immediately. Okay. I also do a handwritten thank you note. Send it. Okay. So now they get a thank you note from me. Then they're going to get this conversation for the next day or two. Thank you note goes in the mail, and then they get the thank you note like 2-3 days later. And hopefully at that point I'm already under contract. But if I'm not, maybe that handwritten thank you note kind of solidifies the deal. And they go, oh, that was really nice. That was very thoughtful thing. Okay. So again, thank them for the opportunity to join them in their house and the opportunity for you to earn their business. Okay. Then do your CMA. Okay. So I sent out the video last week on CMAs. Okay. Then schedule a second appointment or get your seller's agency signed right then and there. Okay. Present your CMA, give your opinion about the listing price, hear out the seller and see what their thoughts are, earn the listing. Okay. So, if you guys, I'm going to show you what I use for a seller's net sheet. I think it's the easiest one. I just recently talked to somebody in my office that was doing a net sheet like by hand. And there's a much easier way to do it. Land Title's website, and I'm sure some other title companies' websites have this too. Okay. Land Title's website has the ability to create a seller's net sheet, and it almost does everything for you. Okay, so underneath, once you go to Land Title, go to Rate Quotes. Once you go to rate quotes, click on seller's estimated net sheet right here in the middle. Okay, put in your property address. Actually, let's do this. This is my current listing. Okay, so 6010 Taft Court. Okay, it's in Jefferson County. Okay, it's a purchase. Closing office doesn't matter. You can just put in whatever. And then if you have a reference, so I would put in like my client's name here. Okay, accept your terms and conditions and hit continue. All right, now you're going to start filling things out. Who pays for the owner's title policy? Almost always the seller does. Okay, who pays for the real estate closing? Our standard is split 50-50. And really, we don't know yet because we don't have a contract. So just put the standards in here. And then you can always let the client know, hey, you know, plus or minus a couple $100 here. Okay, is this a for sale by owner? No. Closing office, Lakewood, sure. Okay, coverage, we almost always delete standard exceptions. Okay, that's that OEC. Okay, we will have standard exceptions. It costs $75, so we almost always do standard exceptions, and the standard is that the seller pays for it. Okay, this property has been purchased or refinanced within the last however many years. If you don't know, don't worry about it. It's not a huge price difference, but basically what happens is the title company, if it's been refinanced or purchased within the last 5 years, they have what's called a reissue rate. Means that the title policy or the title insurance policy was just done, say, 2 years ago. So in order for them to redo the title insurance policy or to reinsure it, it's a little bit less. So there's a little bit of a discount if they've purchased or refinanced the property recently. Okay, again, not a huge difference here. So if there's, you know, if you don't know, don't worry about it. Okay. So then you've done your CMA, and you get to the point where you believe that, okay, the property is going to sell for $525, or that's your list price. Okay, so you say, okay, we're going to list it for $525. So you put that right here in the purchase price. Okay, seller pays for OEC. You're going to skip this because this is for the buyer. Okay, this is the new loan. We're not going to have a new loan. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to add a seller's estimated net sheet. Click here. Okay, so it's already got information for the address. Okay, closing date. Well, we listed the property today. It went live. We're probably going to go under contract on Sunday. So we know that we're going to close probably somewhere around August 25th, August 27th, August 20th, somewhere in there. So we'll just put it right in there. No home warranty on the property, but if you wanted to, you could put it. This is the best thing I love about land titles seller's net sheet. It gives you the option to add a couple other purchase prices in there. So if you told your clients, hey, we're going to list for $525, but I ultimately see you, going under contract somewhere between $525 and $545, then I would put $535 and $545 in here. Okay. Now, here's where you put in your commissions. 3.2% for your sellers, 2.8% for your buyers, and then if you charge an admin fee. So I charge a $350 transaction fee, and then I combine the commissions on the net sheet. Okay. Now, most closings are going to have some type of water escrow, okay, water and sewer escrow. So I just put about $200 each in there. Okay. And then the nice thing about the seller net sheet, saves us a lot of math, or the land title net sheet, is it automatically pulls taxes for this property because I put the property address in. It automatically pulls taxes and automatically prorates them. So I don't have to go in and figure out the proration of the taxes and do it in a spreadsheet. It's automatically going to do it. Okay. If you happen to know if there's any transfer taxes, you could put them in here. There's not many places that have transfer taxes around here. But if there is one, you can put it in there. And then here's where you add your loan payoff. Okay. So remember in our questionnaire, we asked them if they had a lender that needed to be paid off and what their balance was. So I just put in here loan 1, for example, and I'll put in what their payoff is. So let's say it's $160,000. Okay. Now you have miscellaneous closing costs. If you thought of something that was going to be a miscellaneous closing cost, let's say they're getting their sewer repaired and they're going to pay for it out of closing. That's where you could put that in there. Okay, so in the miscellaneous closing credits or costs, put in sewer repair $9,000. So they're getting their AC put in, and they're going to pay for it out of closing proceeds. You can put it right in there. Okay. It automatically pulls your client's names from public record. Then you hit calculate. Okay, give it a second to load. All right, and this is what it's going to kick out. Okay, residential rate quote. So you've got your title fees, which are your tax certificates. Here's your half of your closing fee is $180. Okay, you've got your title fees, your owner's extended coverage, and your closing fees. So you got a total of $2207. You've got your property information here. And here is what's important. This is what your seller should see, okay? And again, this is how I quote unquote negotiate my commission. I don't ever talk about my commission unless they ask, but a lot of them don't even ask. I send them this seller's net sheet and I go, hey, I just sent you a seller's net sheet. It has 3 price points in there. What we talked about, the range of 525 to 545. So it has 3 price points, 525, 535, 545. In that net sheet, it includes all the costs associated with the sale of your home, all the title costs, real estate costs, prorated taxes, sewer and water escrow, everything. Down at the bottom, you'll notice in bold, okay, that is the total amount that would be due to you. So that's how much you will pocket if the property sells for the amounts listed above. Okay, so it gives you a really good idea. And these amounts are plus or minus, you know, call it $1,000. So they're going to be pretty close depending on when you close and prorations and things like that. How do those numbers look to you? Is that kind of what you expected? And they go, yeah, no, that looks great. Perfect. Then I just literally negotiated my 6% commission right here and my $300 agent administration fee without actually talking about them. We talked about them through the seller net sheet here. I said, yeah, that all looks good. Then when we go through the listing appointment, or when we go through the listing contract, in there, there's a point where it says, you know, seller to pay 6%. And then you'll review that. And if they question it, it's very easy to say, yeah, so remember that seller net sheet I sent you? So it says on there, that was already included in there. So this is not, this number that you're looking at, this 6% number isn't above and beyond that seller net sheet that I sent you. And they always go, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, but it gives me an opportunity to essentially negotiate my commission by showing them the net proceeds of the sale of their home, not by being like, I charge 6%, that's going to be $31,000. Okay, and half of that goes to the buyer's agent. Okay, so it's a great way to avoid talking about what nobody wants to talk about anyway. Okay, so this is the seller's net sheet. Okay, and then what I do is I usually email it to myself and then I forward it to them. Okay, so I think this is a great tool. Once you get used to it, you literally can create this net sheet like in 2 minutes. Go through, put that information in, email it to yourself and send it over. So I do the CMA, I do this net sheet, I send those over together, or you know, send the CMA first and then the net sheet second. And if everything looks good, let's put together a listing agreement. Let's get it going. Any questions on this? Okay. See what we got here. Okay, so that was our listing appointment. Let me show you guys. Okay, here is, and this is what I'm going to send to you guys. Okay, this is my seller's presentation. Okay, so this is my version of the seller resource guide. Okay, so home seller's guide, Meta Homes Remax Alliance, my name, picture, information. Okay, kind of a thank you note. type deal. Marketing plan. Okay, talks a little bit about marketing plan. Okay. Here's what I'll do once your home's under contract. As you read these things, you'll be like, you don't do any of that stuff. And you're like, you're right. Title company does the majority of this, but I make sure it happens. Okay. I represent you, my fiduciary duties to you, pricing to sell your home, market time versus sales price, 5 reasons a property sells, blah, 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 blah. Honestly, people don't read this stuff, but it's something to take with you. The other thing is, so I've had some critiques on this. I'm an information type person. I like information. My critique on this, or the critique that I've had on this from other people in the industry is that it's boring. There's a lot of just text on here. I agree. I agree it's boring and that there's text on here. Some people have a lot like cooler, like if you're really good with Publisher, like Photoshop or whatever it is, and can make a really cool listing presentation, do it. That's cool. Mine's not. So I'll send this over to you guys. And if you want to use it, you're certainly welcome to. If you want to make it better and you make a really cool one and you want to share it back with me, cool, I'll use it. Okay. Mine is not anything great. So it just gives you the idea of what should be in it, what type of stuff should be in it. So here's personal testimonials, talks about showing off your home, what you should do to get your home ready for the sale. Here's talks about how showings are worked. We keep records, they're by appointment only, so we know who's in your property. Again, repair and cleaning checklist, relocation assistance. I can help you find your next home. Okay. I actually don't like this page. On my newest ones, I think I've removed it. Settlement figures explained. This goes on the seller's net sheet kind of anyway. I don't know. If you don't like it, get rid of it. If you like it, keep it. Okay. More contact information and then a blank page at the end for any notes. And you can see my little key branding is on every single page. Which that key comes from my brand itself. Okay, so anyway, I'll send you this. I also have a buyer's presentation guide that looks the same as this one. Just talks about buyer side stuff. Okay, so I'll send you both of these. I will tell you full disclosure right now, because I know I've sent this to some people already. The editable versions of these are in Publisher. I made these in Microsoft Publisher. If you don't have access to Publisher, I think you can buy it on Microsoft 365, Microsoft Office 365 for like $8 a month. So buy it for $8 for the month and edit it if you want. Or I'll also send the PDF version. And I think some people on here might use like Canvas or some other different ones where they can actually take the PDF and edit it. So I'll send you both versions, but just know if you go, hey, I can't open your thing that you sent me, it's Microsoft Office Publisher. Okay. So I will send you those. I will send you the seller questionnaires that we have, and I'll send you the buy side stuff. What else do I have? I'll send you a buyer information sheet. What else do I have? Anyway, I'll send you all that stuff. So presentations, questions. What questions do you guys have? It's going to be like my shortest mastermind ever.
So you follow up with your email, and let's say they're still kind of on the fence. How do you keep kind of massaging them? Like in my particular situation, I have the next door unit in a duplex go right on the market the day after I had my listing presentation. And I've been trying to like keep feeling them out, but they're not ready to like do anything because they want to see what happens with the property next door to them. In those kinds of scenarios, how do you kind of make the long game approach?
I think so. For me, with something like that, I mean, I would find a way to try to reach out. I would find a way. So the way I would do that is I would be in constant contact with the person that listed the place next door and be like, hey, so how's things going? How, you know, and I would tell them like, hey, I got a listing coming up, and just kind of want an idea of what kind of action you've got. If you wouldn't mind disclosing your price, which you were going to do this anyway with a proper comp, but then I'm going to keep my clients up to date. I'll just say, hey, I just want to give you a quick update on the place next door. Did a little research just to kind of give us an idea of what type of activity we can expect. They actually had 30 showings in their first 2 days. They are under contract for, they wouldn't give me the exact price, but they are over list price. And I would just kind of give them that, right? Like, so just like, keep them up to date with the goings on in their area, and just keep getting their feedback. So, so after I tell them that stuff, so how do you feel? Does that, I mean, if your property were to go somewhere in that range, do you feel good about that price? What are you guys thinking at this point? Okay, so just constantly trying to find a way to reach out, and market statistics in their area is a great reason to do that, right? Hey, just to let you know, I've been following, wanted to let you know, we are seeing a little bit of a slowdown in our market right now, where homes that were used to, we would expect to get 70 showings in the first weekend, we're only getting 25 to 30 showings. It's still a sufficient amount of showings to get good contracts on it, but things are slowing a little bit. It's not the end of the world. It doesn't mean our market is going into a dip. It just means we're seeing kind of this seasonal back to school lull that we're kind of used to. So I would either recommend, potentially getting on the market here quickly, or let's maybe wait this out and, maybe wait 30 days and see where you're at. Obviously, we don't love to tell people to wait, but if it's the right thing to do, it's the right thing to do. So what else?
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. What else? What other thoughts? Okay. Well, cool. I'll get this stuff sent over to you. And if you guys have, as always, if you guys have any questions kind of throughout the week, please let me know if there's anything I can help you with. I'm always happy to help, and I'll send this your way, and I'll get this recording set up. I'll get this recording set up. Oh, and sorry, this binder, Michelle. Oh, you got it? You got it? Okay. It's just like a listing binder. I don't even know. If you tell them it's like a leather bound listing binder, they'll know what it is. And Dennis has them too. So if you're, are you, Michelle, are you in the Boardwalk office? Yeah, okay. So Dennis has got some, and he can tell you too what they are, but cool. All right, well, take care, everybody. I'll get this all uploaded and send everybody the recording.
Did you want to talk about the banquet at all, and potentially?
Oh, yes. Yeah. For those of you that are with Fort Collins, and I'll put it in the, I'll put it in an email. You guys have a banquet on the 11th, right? August 11th?
That sounds right.
It is. It is
Okay.
a slum. They just sent it out today.
Okay.
Perfect. So Northern Colorado has a banquet on the 11th. It's their award ceremony for last year. I'm actually going to it. So if you're in the Fort Collins office and want to meet me in person, I'll be at that event. So I'd love to meet you guys in person. So that being said, that's a Wednesday. So we will not have mastermind that day. Okay. So I don't know. We can maybe talk the week before if we want to make it up on a different day. It just depends what my schedule looks like probably for that week as to whether or not I can make it up. But we'll probably be, let's see, we got the 28th. We've got 2 more weeks. We may only have 3 more weeks worth of stuff. Anyway, we'll figure it out kind of the week before, but at least for August 11th, we will not have mastermind. So, but I'll put that in the email as well. Thanks for the reminder, Michelle. Appreciate it. All right, anything else? And oh, Tiffany, do you take the binder with you? Yes, if I can. So again, it's about a 2-day turnaround. So if somebody calls you and they want to do a listing appointment like tomorrow, you're probably not going to get it. But if I can get it before the first meeting, yeah. So as soon as I know I have a listing appointment, I immediately reach out to Title and be like, hey, can you get me one of these for this listing? So cool. All righty.
Hey, it's called a home book, just in case you were still looking for that.
Good job, Sean. Thank you. It's a home book.
You bet. Thank you, Nick.
Awesome. Okay. All right, everybody, have a great rest of your week. Let me know if you need anything. Get lots of deals done.
All right, thank you, Nick.
All right, take care, everybody.